Hi there, it's Sandra with Brew City Thrifts. Today we are at the Goodwill in Waukesha. It is a Thursday after work, not my favorite day for thrifting, but we haven't been here a while, so who knows what's on the shelves. Let's get in there, let's hit it. Just to change things up a bit, I start at the back of the store. This cheese crock looked like it could be something of interest. It seemed like it might have a little bit of age. I also, well, there's Abe. There's the honest Abe taking a nap. Over here, I noticed, after picking up that stein, I noticed these two turtles, and this little wooden turtle was really quite cute. I like hand-carved ironwood animals, and that was kind of the style of some of the larger pieces. It's sweet, it's small. I think I'm going to take it with me. The other turtle, I was kind of considering it's a little bit more less interesting to me. So I looked at that little jar. That was a ceramic jar with a kind of a nice design there. And this tidbit tray was nice. I like the fact that it had acorns on oak leaves. That was a nice fall piece. Another turtle. Someone probably brought in their turtle collection. I noticed this bowl. It looked to be hand painted. It is Pier 1. Sometimes I pick up Pier 1 items. Today I'm going to leave that one on the shelf. I'd like to take a look inside this box, and when I open it up, now is this a cribbage board? I am not sure what game this is, but I do believe it may be missing some pegs. Down here we've got a vintage brown drip glaze pitcher. It's being sold as is, so this Goodwill is letting you know there's been a little bit of damage. And then, yep, gonna go back to that little turtle and pop it in my cart, and the other one's going back on the shelf. These are the shelves with craft items, and I noticed this jar of googly eyes, and I just had to take it. I am going to donate this to my workplace. We do a lot of arts and crafts, and I'm having fun thinking about what we can do with those googly eyes. Then I noticed this item. It has got a wood frame to it, and when I look at it, it's a desktop easel. This is another item. We could really use this at where I work. So I think I'm going to take that and donate it to my workplace. Very cool. When I start from the front of the store, by the time I get here, I'm usually running out of time and having to rush to look at everything on this particular shelf, this shelving unit. But now I can take my time. And the first thing that I decide to pick up is this little pan, this baking dish. It is Metlocks. It is vintage. And here's a miss on my part. That is a Camp Chef cooking griddle that's got the long handle to cook over open fire. Definitely should have picked that one up. I was focused on some vintage ceramics, so it just didn't register. But here is what I was looking for, something like this, which I thought might be Italian pottery. And here we've got a match to that Metlocks Poppy Trail with the roosters. Now they have a bunch of different patterns that have roosters, different time periods. I'm guessing the feel of the pottery here makes me think 1950s, 1960s. So it is a nice vintage couple of pieces there. And then I noticed this shaker. This is Shawnee. It still has this sticker on it. So had it had its match, I probably would have picked those up. And I don't pick up salt and pepper shakers very much, even though I do like looking at pretty ones like these right here. I noticed this ceramic spoon rest because I do frequently pick them up. I like them. In this case, that one wasn't too special. We've got some more contemporary pieces here, even though they are nicely hand painted. This one is by Amalfi Coast. It's not a brand I'm too familiar with. And up here we have a piece of milk glass. It looked like it was Pyrex, but it's not. It's It's Inland Glass, and that's a company out of Chicago that probably is a vintage piece. I think it goes for in the 20s, but it I thought it was Pyrex, and so when it was Inland, I just moved on. Anyway, this is another piece of that Metlock's Puppy Trail pattern with the rooster. It's a nice big serving platter. I wasn't feeling it today. I do pick up Metlocks occasionally, and it is a very nice set, but I wasn't in the rooster mood today, I guess. So even though the very next plate I picked up wasn't a Oneida rooster plate. I noticed this, what I think is a cookie jar. It is in the shape of a speedboat. I thought that was kind of fun. It looked more contemporary though. This, however, very 1970s, from the wood and the ceramic down to that wheat sheaf. It is by a company called Goodwoods, and they are nice, but they don't go for a very high price. I like this anchor hocking bread pan. I like glass bread pans myself. That's my favorite. This is a nice looking crock. It's definitely got some age. It's vintage. They're asking $6.99. The graphics pretty nice on it, and it's by West Bend. So you know me, I like me a good crock, and a good lidded crock is definitely up my alley. And I'm going to think about it. I'm going to take a look at I'm looking it up on my phone, and it turns out it really only goes for about 8 to 12, maybe $14 on eBay, so I did decide to leave it on the shelf. Here we have cookie jars, cooking jars, and lidded jars of all kinds. This one looked old, but is actually Pottery Barn, made to look older than it actually is. Pottery Barn is a good brand, but I decided to leave it. Got some glass jars there. That one is shaped like an apple, and back in the back was one shaped like a pumpkin. Here we have another wheat sheaf jar, lidded canister, heavy ceramic, and it's unmarked. Unfortunately, it has a match, but I decided to pass it by. And then I noticed this. This is definitely up my alley. This is a Wisconsin Homestead cheese crock. It is vintage. It's got the wire bale closure, and it's got its original seal there. They only go for about $10. Another day I might have picked that up. Today I decide to leave it. Then on the shelf below, I saw this canister back here that looked like it might be hand painted. It is hand painted, but I don't think it's very old, so I'm going to leave it behind. We got the teapots and pitchers over here. This one has a 1980s spongeware kind of look to it. And I noticed this. I thought this was a really pretty pattern clear glass pitcher. It looked like it was quality glass or crystal. And I definitely, when I pick up clear glass, I like it to be really heavily patterned like this. So I took a good look at it, but I decided to leave it on the shelf. It is a Michael Edge piece, I believe. But I had noticed this lovely hand-painted kyusu teapot with the handle and the spout in that arrangement. That is a Japanese teapot. It's been used. It has some age. Love the hand painting on it, and I decide that is something I'm going to take with me. The very next shelf over here is a mystery. I noticed this, what looked to be a brass kettle or cauldron. It is, it has some sort of utensil with it. And I opened it up to see this. I have no idea what that is. I thought maybe it was a pestle, but with a screw on the bottom. That's definitely not a pestle. I don't know what that is. So All right, friends, please give me your best guesses if someone knows what this is. I would love to know. They were asking $6.99, so it seems like Goodwill thought it was something special, but I am super puzzled. I've tried looking it up online and I don't know what it is. I noticed this really pretty yellow plate or dish. It has a pebbled texture with cherry blossoms and unfortunately a huge crack. This is a pattern I've picked up before. It is Japanese. It is by Hoto Yu Shoten, and I think it's really, really pretty. It's definitely vintage, as is this dish. This is the old granite pattern by Johnson Brothers. I currently have some in my inventory that I am trying to move. And this is a pretty Volksgraf hand painted pattern. There's the Johann Haviland blue garland patterned china. And this is a pretty hand painted plate. Underneath it, we've got another one that is by Royal Norfolk. None of these are things that I feel like I have to take with me. And then here, we've got more of this Metlock's rooster poppy trail pattern. And here's some pure one. Lots of hand painted stuff. This pretty orange glass tea light holder really caught my eye. That would be lovely for fall. Kind of contemporary, but still very pretty. Obviously, I'm in the vases area, so I'm scanning to see what catches my eye. I thought the pottery was a pretty color here, but that's a contemporary piece. Then I noticed this. I thought, oh, this might have some age. Took a look at this cherub vase, and I thought, I might put that in my cart and think about that. It's not really my style, but because I wasn't finding a lot of vintage, I think I was really pushing myself to kind of expand my horizons a little bit. Now that what I was hoping could have potentially been something like a Hager piece. The glaze didn't look like Hager, but the style did. And this calla lily vase is very 1980s to me. It's large. It's a nice one. Not something I would typically pick up. It's hard to ship something that big. This looked like a hand-blown piece of art glass. Could be potentially a nicer piece. I thought about it for a minute. I do like that model glass. The color wasn't super, super exciting, but it was a nice piece. This looks like hand painted, but also still very contemporary. It's a pretty pink color, kind of a pink mauve color. So lots of vases here. This looked like an apothecary jar. It was a frosted glass piece, and it was pretty nice. I do enjoy picking up apothecary jars, and this is a frosted glass one. I thought about it for a hot minute and decided to leave it. I'm always on the lookout for pottery, and this caught my eye. This is Robinson Ransbottom pottery. It's a match set of, well, that's almost like a ramekin and a little crock there with gingerbread. They're cute, they're vintage, but I put them in my cart to think about them for a minute, but I'm trying not to pick up Christmas stuff anymore. I have so much for no good reason at all. Down here on a lower shelf, this looked like a pretty hand painted piece. And then I noticed this, and I pulled it out and I went, wow, this is a really nice thick piece of blown glass. It's frosted glass. I'm not sure what I don't think it's a planter, but maybe you could use it as a planter. I think I'm gonna take that one. So I'm finally coming to the front of the store, and in the area with lots of frames and wooden things, I noticed this. Now this little tabletop cabinet has this very pretty clock face on it. It's kind of, rough hewn. It's a little bit primitive in style, but it's very functional with those two drawers. It's a good size for display, for actually using it to store something in. And I do like the clock face. It's kind of a antique style clock face. I don't think it's that old, but I just really like the look of it. And I decide I'm going to take a chance on it. Okay, it is cart review time. Now, it turns out that this beautiful clock cabinet is I'm still not sure if the timepiece works, but it's actually made to look older than it is. Somebody who wanted to change out the clock mechanism would not be, to my eye, a very difficult thing to do. So this piece is definitely a fun pickup for me, something a little bit unusual for me. Clocks are something I don't do very often. Something else I am taking with me for reselling that was also pushing my comfort zone was this large piece of frosted glass. It appears to be Indiana glass, something that is called tiara glass. It's obviously a satin glass, I believe, a goblet. I think it's for drinking alcohol, although I think this particular one may have been used for a display piece. Here's some stuff just for personal use back there, but the googly eyes, the jar of googly eyes, the little tabletop easel, those are for work. And then we've got this nice hand-carved little turtle. That is definitely a cute little piece. And finally, the kyusu teapot. This is a Japanese style teapot used for brewing particularly green teas like sencha. And I've picked one up before that I thought was really cool. This one is too. So there you have it. There's my haul. Okay, so better luck next time. I mean, face it, there wasn't a whole lot there today that was exciting me. We did find a few things, and I was kind of pushed out of my comfort zone because I wasn't finding things that I'm normally looking for. So I think that glass, it's not a brandy snifter. I guess it's a planter. I don't know exactly what it is. It's supposed to be for, but it's a big glass. That big frosted glass, just the thickness of the glass, the quality made me think this might be something. So I picked that up. The clock, always worried about clocks, don't usually mess with clocks because what if they don't work, right? But this one was so cool looking, I'm like, even if it doesn't work, I'd probably decorate with it. So giving that a shot. And finally, the one thing that I think they overlooked that is a real treasure was that kyusu teapot, that hand-painted kyusu teapot I really like. So hope you had fun. Like my channel, subscribe, and come back. We'll do this again. Thrift on.